Hi everyone. Today I want to share a deeply personal story, one that changed my life and taught me the real meaning of love. It's about how I turned my husband's indifference into the deepest love I've ever known. If you've ever felt unseen or unloved in a relationship, I hope this inspires you. When we first got married, I thought I knew what love was. I pictured romantic dinners, endless conversations, and constant attention. But reality? It was nothing like that. My husband wasn't cruel, but he was distant. He wasn't the type to say I love you often or shower me with affection. He was polite, respectful even, but his heart felt closed off. I remember one evening in particular, just a few weeks into our marriage. I had spent hours preparing his favorite meal, lighting candles, and setting the table. He came home, smiled briefly, said, "Thanks, this is nice," and then spent the rest of the night on his laptop. I sat there feeling invisible, wondering what I was doing wrong. At first, I let my frustration take over. I'd confront him, saying things like, "Don't you care about me?" or "Why don't you show me you love me?" But instead of bringing us closer, these conversations created more distance. He wasn't a bad person, he just didn't respond to love the way I expected him to. One night, after another failed attempt to connect, I had a moment of clarity. I realized I had been focusing on what I wanted from him, instead of trying to understand him. That night, I made a promise to myself: instead of demanding love, I would focus on giving it unconditionally. The next day, I started observing him more closely. I noticed little things about him, the way he got lost in his thoughts while working, the joy in his eyes when he talked about his favorite subjects, and how he loved small, quiet moments rather than grand gestures. I began joining him in those moments. For example, he loved late-night brainstorming sessions for his projects. So instead of going to bed alone, I'd sit with him, reading a book or quietly doing my own work. I didn't interrupt or ask for attention, I was just there. And slowly, he started noticing. One night, he surprised me by asking for my opinion on one of his ideas. It was such a small thing, but it felt monumental. He wasn't just tolerating my presence, he was inviting me into his world. There was another turning point during a small argument. Instead of reacting with frustration, I simply said, "I don't want to fight. I just want to understand you." He froze, stared at me, and said, "No one's ever said that to me before." That moment broke down a wall between us. Over time, I noticed more changes. He started asking about my day, planning little surprises, and even sharing things he never talked about before. One evening, as we were sitting together, he looked at me and said, "You make me feel safe. I don't know what I'd do without you." Hearing those words brought tears to my eyes because I knew they came from a place of genuine love, not obligation. It wasn't magic or manipulation that changed our relationship. It was patience, understanding, and loving him for who he truly was, not who I wanted him to be. Now, our relationship is completely different. We laugh together, share our dreams, and face life's challenges as a team. Winning his heart wasn't about changing him, it was about changing me. I stopped seeing love as something to be earned or proven. Instead, I focused on creating a safe space where love could grow naturally. So, if you're feeling unseen in your relationship, my advice is this: stop chasing love and start giving it freely. Pay attention to your partner's world, their needs, and their unspoken feelings. Love isn't about grand gestures or endless declarations. It's about showing up every day with kindness and patience. Thank you for letting me share my story. If you found this inspiring, let me know in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe. Remember, love isn't about finding the perfect person, it's about creating a perfect bond with the one you have.